welcome back to Low Key Not a Podcast. I'm Amanda, and today we're going to talk about, have you ever felt that your self-worth was down, your confidence was down, you don't like the way you look? If you're in a situation like me, I currently have a mom bod, I call it, and I don't like it. We focus on who we were before. And today we're going to dive deep into health and wellness and kind of the way you view yourself and how God tells you that you should view yourself. And today with me, I have Kyra. Kyra, do you want to share a little bit about yourself?
My name is Kyra Braddock. I'm from Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. I do hair and nails as a full-time stylist. I work 2 jobs, so part-time kind of at both, but full-time during the week at both together. Fitness just kind of became part of my everyday life in the past few years. So I'm excited to be on the podcast and have fun.
Yeah, so you are going to follow us. We're going to work out. We're going to be typical girls today, and we're going to work our legs and our glutes. Because why not? Because that's easy. As a girl, that's your go-to, right? So for the sake of this podcast, we're going to, and too, I feel like that's my strong suit. So I won't be like huffing and puffing, like trying to do stuff. So while we do this, you can follow us. We're going to work out and just have a conversation and talk. And we're going to dive deep into it. We're going to start out on the leg press. So I'll go first, I guess. This is so awkward, I feel like, but it's okay. But anyway, so Kyra, I wanted to ask you, what motivated you to kind of get your fitness? And you really were like, okay, I need to change the way I'm eating. I need to change how I'm working out. Like, I need to dive deep into that.
Honestly, my sister. So if you're watching this, shout out to you, because if it wasn't for her, I probably would never have stepped foot into the gym. It was like COVID. I was bored one day and I was like, are you going to the gym? Can I come with you? And her face honestly said it all, because she was like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I really want to go. Like, let's go. So that kind of just sparked the interest. And then from there, I just started really going.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So is your sister like really into fitness?
Yeah, she's actually Westminster lacrosse head coach.
Okay.
And she has her personal training certificate. So she really helped at the beginning of this. I was like a guinea pig, I feel like, for her.
Yeah.
So honestly, kudos to her.
No, yeah, that's really cool, because I feel like you guys like helped each other.
Yeah.
And I feel like that can, I don't know, you like need somebody like that. I always say my sister-in-law kind of became the person that I work out with. And I feel like I don't know why, as a woman, I feel like it's so hard to just do it yourself.
It is.
And I give so much props to the girls that they really kick butt and they do it themselves. And they get out there and just, they really, I don't know what they do.
I feel like women nowadays really don't know how to like get into it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's either they know how or they try to know how, and then they just don't know what to do. Like, they're like at a standstill. Like, they're stuck.
Yeah.
Like, they don't know what else to do with themselves.
Yeah, that's always been my thing too, is like you go on Instagram and it's like you see all these girls posting things, and it like their ways of doing things, and they'll be like, oh, like you can buy my fitness class, or they'll be like, this is why you should do like, remember how it's funny, like everyone comes at is it the Bulgarian?
Yeah.
And no one likes those, and like they've been coming at them, and me, someone who doesn't have a background in that, I'm like, okay, like why should I not be doing them? Like what's, you know what I mean? So I feel like on social media you get so many opinions about fitness and women, and you see these like, and usually the women posting are like so like lean and fit, and they like look so good, and you're just like, wow, like I don't look like that. I feel weird going to the gym, and like it's intimidating, and like you don't have anyone, when you don't have anyone there like encouraging you and cheering you on, I feel like it like can be so hard.
No, I agree with that 100%. And I feel like social media nowadays really just like sets this unrealistic scale for women, especially because like men, they can eat in like a cleaner health style and work out for a week, and they'd probably lose like 10 pounds. Now us women, like we are made to carry a child in our life. Like we are built differently for a reason. And I feel like you look at social media influencers and you're like, man, I really wish I looked like that, but you don't know what they do in their everyday life. You don't know how they train, like what they do outside of training, how they eat. And it's just so unrealistic.
Yeah.
And I feel like females like look at that type of stuff and they're like, man, like why can't I look like that?
Yeah.
But it's just everybody's body's different. Like you have to train certain ways if you have X like health issues, or you have to like you have celiac, like you have to eat different stuff
Yeah.
So it's all about your personal health and like wellness. And I just feel like people just don't realize that.
Yeah. And I love too lately, I've been seeing a lot of stuff on hormones. And hormones play I like never knew that. Granted, I'm only like 27, so I feel bad for the people that are like in their 50s, they're just finding out that hormones affect like everything you do. They affect your mood, they affect like, even too, like I always love the like TikToks of girls, they'll be like working out and it'll be like, I don't know the phases of your cycle, but it'll be like me in the like follicular phase or however you say it. And then it'll be like ovulation and like they'll be like going hard. And I'm just like, it is so true though.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you don't understand that fully, it's almost like hard to work out because you get in these moods where like, oh my gosh, like I just said on the last podcast how I'm addicted to Pop-Tarts. Like it's really bad. And I get these weird moods where Pop-Tarts are my guilty pleasure and I just like love Pop-Tarts. And just like one thing that I like to eat. And you get in these moods and then you're like, oh, and then you like get down on yourself. But it's like, no, like what phase are you in? Like why, what's low? What do you need? What is your body like craving?
Exactly.
Kind of a thing. And how do you help that? Like, I mean, I would say I'm addicted to sugar, like 100%.
Oh, I mean, there's definitely phases where I'm like, oh, I just want ice cream. Like, that's all I want. And I'm not going to give that up. Like, I'm going to eat my ice cream whenever I want ice cream.
Yeah, I know.
So, yeah. Woman's cycle and the way that your body is definitely different. Like, I feel like there's 1 week throughout the month that, like, we're the flat, normal woman. But then other than that, like, we're everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, we can either push 250 pounds or you're pushing 50 pounds.
Yeah.
Just because there might be a week leading up to your cycle where you're just tired and you can't get out of bed and like weight just feels so heavy.
Yeah.
But then like right after your cycle, you might be like, oh my gosh, I'm a beast. Like I'm an animal. Like I'm really pushing this weight right now. But like your body the woman's body truly is just like amazing.
Yeah.
Like it really is just like the things that we go through and like people don't understand, like from outsiders looking in, especially like the men, like they just see like a woman. They just see like a female, but they don't understand like what we go through monthly.
Yeah. No, I know.
And I feel like that does play such like a big role in like your day-to-day life.
Yeah. And like talking about that, what do you think helped you with like getting the right like mentality because I feel like too, it is like a big mind challenge. I don't know. I feel like as women, we just like overthink. At least I overthink a lot. And like for me, I know it was really hard, like just like getting like just showing up because it like took so much to show up, if that makes sense.
Nah. Oh gosh. Honestly, like I feel like the initial like start was like me just kind of, I was bored. I was like, all right, let's go. I'm bored. And I feel like with that, like I wasn't really trying. Like I was just going for something to do.
Yeah.
But then it was like the initial, like you see like, you feel a change and you're like, oh, like I feel good. I'm going to keep on going.
Yeah.
And then you like start to see a difference or somebody's like, oh, you look good or have you been whatever. And then that kind of makes you feel good. So you're like, okay, I'm going to go. Like, I'm just going to keep going. Like, I feel good. I look good. Like your mindset gets clearer. Like you just internally and externally just feel so good. So I feel like that kind of like motivates like a female just to like keep on showing up for yourself. Like you just start to just slowly see any type of change. You're like, okay, I'm going to go. Like, I'm just going to go. Like, even if it's like a 10-minute walk or like you're going to do 2 exercise and just like do the treadmill for 10 minutes, like something as simple as that, just to get your body moving, like you just feel so much better. And I feel like after I got past like that boredom part of wanting to go and I started to feel good, I was like, okay, I'm going to keep going. Yeah. And then after that, I just feel like just kind of from there, just took off.
No, I think that is like so true. And I think too, like, I don't know, I always say like, I feel like we were like created in a result. Like we like results, but I feel like everybody I know, like in any field you're in, like for instance, like we do social media and like all the clients we deal with, it's like everyone's like, it's like we almost like need to see it to believe it or like to keep going or like doing something. We have to see results. We have to see it working. And I think that even goes with like having like faith in God too, like growing up from like a Christian background. Faith is talking about so much, and we're kind of just like almost like it's kind of like you need to have faith in yourself to do this, and it's like kind of similar. I feel like they go kind of hand in hand. And I think even faith, it's like hard for people who are results driven to have faith in God. And even I think even normal people, like I grew up, I'm not an analytical person at all, but like when I see something not going my way, or I see something happen that like someone didn't deserve this to happen to them, or something bad happened, when I see those things, automatically in my mind, I'm like, well, why did that happen? Like, come on, like, God, if you're real, like, why did that happen? So I feel like that's with like anything, like we always like need to see the results, and we like aspire. We can't like motivate ourselves to do something if we don't see it working in our favor almost too. And that's like the hard part too, is I feel like too, a lot of people that I talk to and a lot of my friends is like, they get really into fitness and then they plateau. And then they're just like, okay, now what? And I think too, that goes into like, you just got to keep like, you got to push through the plateau and like push yourself even further, depending on what you want to get. I loved though, what you said about like you like to eat ice cream, because that's always been my biggest thing is I'm like, I love ice cream, and coffee is like the one thing I like refuse to give up. Like I love coffee. I love going and getting it made for me because it's something I don't have to do for myself, and I don't know why, it just makes me feel good. It puts me in a better mood. That's like the thing I love. I know other people have their things. That's just my thing. And I always have been like, I don't want to give up coffee, and I know if I give up coffee, that's going to help me feel better. Like that's how I'm going to lose the weight, because I'm sure instead of eating my sugar, I'm drinking my sugar. And I have like majorly died down on like how much sugar I put in my coffees, but like with flavors and stuff. But I love what you said though, is like how you have to just do like what works for you and like your lifestyle, because what someone else is doing online, you don't know what they're giving up. And you don't know like what they're missing out on. So in the beauty industry, there's definitely like a lot of pressure, I feel like, because you have to show up to work decent. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to have your hair done. Usually they want your nails done. I know a lot of salons usually want your nails done, want you having makeup, like looking presentable. And so being in the beauty industry and it being all about like outer beauty, how has that has that affected you at all with how you see yourself? Or?
Honestly, I would say no, on just how I see myself.
Yeah.
I feel like the beauty industry definitely does put I don't even know how to say it, but like I feel like people look at people in the beauty industry and they think like we should look a certain way or come to work a certain way or something. But honestly, like you just have to find yourself in a salon that lets you be you.
Yeah.
Like what I'm wearing right now, I'm probably going to go to work in, because I just am able to go into work however I want. And they know that they're coming in to see me for my service, not for how I'm dressed that day.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to come in and be like, oh, you're wearing a sweatshirt and leggings, like shouldn't you be in like a skirt? I cannot tell you the last time I wore a skirt. Yeah. Because that's just not me. So being able to like be me and like present myself the way that I am, like makes me feel better, like in my job and in the industry. But I feel like people do have like this standard for like the beauty industry where like they expect to walk in and see everybody in a black skirt or like everybody in a dress or like dress pants. But I feel like that just shouldn't be how it is, just because like you should be able to express yourself and kind of like go about and be comfortable with your day-to-day life.
Yeah. So true. Yeah, I think that's really good. Especially because like I have a lot of friends who went to cosmetology school, like they usually did it in high school, and then they go work for this salon, and then they're like, what the heck, I was wearing sweatpants every day to school, and now I can't do it. Dress up nice. Yeah. And I think it is too like good too. I think it goes for anything in life, is that you just have to find your place and where you're at and like who you almost like vibe with the best.
Yeah.
I hate using that word, but it's like so true though. Like you do have to find people that like fit your culture and like the people you want in your life.
No, I agree 100%.
But then my other question for you was, with all of this, so definitely I feel like being in the beauty industry and focusing on your health and wellness, and just like with the way the world is right now, I feel like it's very me culture, where it's like you need to have self-care, and which self-care is like 100% like important. But how do you feel, like how do you do that and not go too much into the like, where you get really selfish and into that like me mindset?
I mean, like I'm a very low-key person, and I feel like I really do put myself last and like the self-care portion last. As like I wake up really early in the morning. I'm an early bird, not a night person. Yeah. So I do wake up super early, and I get myself to the gym and start my day off in the gym, and that just kind of like brings me in, like that's like my me time. Like that's like the time where I just sit, listen to my music, do my thing, and like I like collect my thoughts for the day, just like knowingly that I'm gonna go and spend the next 10 hours talking to XYZ or however many people I have that day and like listen to everybody. And it's something that I'm passionate about and enjoy to do daily.
Yeah.
So whenever I sit in my chair or stand behind my chair, depending on what salon I'm at, I kind of just like toss everything about me aside and I'm like, all right, let's hear what people have to say today. And people like say that in the beauty industry, like you're kind of like a therapist in a way.
Yeah.
And it's so true because you don't know what somebody's going to come in and say to you.
Yeah.
And then it's like you're kind of put on the spot and it's like, oh, what do I say back to that? And it's like, then that's kind of where it goes to show like you can't be selfish in this industry because if somebody's going through like a death or something like that, like you can't just be like, oh, well, me, because that's not how you react to that. Like you have to be sympathetic to it and you have to like show your sincere apologies to that type of situation. Like you can't just be like, okay, but like my life, like that type of thing. Like you just can't do that. So as for me, like I just feel like I'm very laid back and I just like don't care. I don't wear makeup either. So like I usually just get up and go, or like if I'm coming from the gym, I go from the gym and like wear gym clothes. So like I really just am like, I just toss myself aside and I'm like, okay, let's go to work. Like let's go to work, let's do my thing and let's just go about the day. As for everybody else, like I don't know how everybody else is in the industry just because of that, but I would say for me personally, like I've just kind of like disclose myself from the world whenever I get to work, and I just like how that is at the end of the day.
Yeah. No, I think that's really good too, and like I think that usually with taking care of yourself, like it is like really important. I feel like our culture, it's like pushed on us so much lately because I mean, one, I do think that like it is a thing that we're selfish people, like everyone's selfish, like and you have selfish tendencies, but I also think too is that women have like shoved it down for so long to the point where like they're almost like starting to like have enough, and it's almost like they're realizing, like our generations especially is realizing like we're not happy, like why are we unhappy? Like there's no reason to like put on a front and like fake it till you make it. Like it should be like real and genuine. But yeah, so I feel like it's also become like a new thing, but I've always struggled with it too because I look online and I'm like, they have like 10 face care routines and they're like in the mirror for like 40 minutes like fixing their face, and I'm like, that's not for me. I have like 20 minutes to get ready in the morning, and like usually by the time it's nighttime and I put my daughter to bed, I'm like so excited to get her to bed that I'm just ready for bed. Like I don't even want to spend that much amount of time on myself. But I just know lately too, I feel like we've gotten into a culture where it's just crazy and everyone's just like, how do I pamper me, and like what's it about me, and I need to take care of myself, which it is true. You should take care of yourself. You can't take care of other people if you don't take care of yourself. But where's the fine line of this is you're solely focusing on yourself and you're not worrying about like others and how others might feel. So I think it's good though. I always say I wish I was like super laid back. I've gotten way more chill from having our daughter. I used to be like literally I used to be so like everything has to be a certain way, and like I liked things the way they were, and I did things the way that I did them, and that was that. But I've definitely gotten better with like just going with the flow, like rolling with the punches, and being okay with how I look and like how I do things. But I love that you're just like authentically yourself, and I definitely think that's something that a lot of people aspire to be. So it's good that like so young in your life that you like figured that out versus like when you're 40 and you have like a midlife crisis. And you're like, oh my gosh, like, who am I? Because I feel like, honestly, when you have a kid, man, that's what hit you. Like, that's what hit me was, like, who am I? What am I good at? Like, I'm not even counting these things. I don't even know how many I just did. But that's what it's like working out with me. It's okay. I talk nonstop.
This and yap.
Yeah.
This and yap is what it is.
Yeah. I just do it till I'm like, okay, I feel a little bit. I should probably stop. But I always lose count. But no, yeah. I think that's like really good though, because I definitely feel like being like a woman, you have a baby, your hormones get all weird, you almost like lose your identity because you like lose who you were almost. Like it's like you just question everything. And so I feel like being a woman, it's like really hard. So that where you're at in life, I feel like it's so important to get there before you like get any further in life, because it's so important to just like know who you are and be like happy with it. But I'm like out of breath right now from getting out of this freaking thing. But the one thing I did want to ask you was, with health and wellness, I feel like personally for me, like coming from like a Christian stance and like background and being raised in church, you know, we were always taught like put God first, and like everything is about God, and like He's in everything you do daily. But I've never been taught really, like when I was little, I was never really taught like you take care of your body, like your body is a temple. It was always like maybe like don't drink alcohol or don't smoke weed or do drugs, or like, you know what I mean? Like that was the way of like your body was a temple. But I was never treated of working out was taking care of your body and treating your body. You know what I mean? Like I've never really like been taught that in my church. More recently, I probably heard sermons about it like online, but I feel like it's not something really talked about a lot, like in like the church community. So I wanted to kind of like pick your brain on like how you feel about like that at all. Like, do you feel like it was ever taught to you? Like, do you feel like, I don't know, like the way you look at yourself?
I feel like the same thing. Like you're always taught like your body's a temple. Like you're not supposed to smoke. You're not supposed to drink. You're not supposed to do like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Which, growing up and listening to that, like you kind of get that reamed in, but then you don't hear anything about the gym aspect. And like being good to your body is like a full circle. Like if you're putting the toxic stuff in, you're going to feel like crap. If you're not putting the work in, you're going to feel like crap. So it's kind of just like both standpoints. And coming from like, I'm young and I will say like, I don't drink at all. Yeah. I'm just not a drinker, never have been, like just don't really intend to be. So then taking the step and going to the gym and like starting to feel good in that aspect, I feel like has just like driven me to kind of, in a sense, like feel good all around. So then in the church aspect of things, like I go in the church on Sundays and I sit there and listen to my pastor preach, and I'm like, man, like I just feel great. Like I just feel great. Like I feel great internally. I feel great physically. I feel great like spiritually, mentally, emotionally, like everything. Like everything in my life right now is just awesome. Like I really have no complaints. And I can't say like I'm ever like upset in my day-to-day life. Like I usually try to just like brush like little things off and just like feel good. I go to the gym and I am a big advocate for Christian rap music. Like that is what I listen to and I love it. And I also feel like that's another thing, like what you're listening to in the gym kind of like shows like the type of person that you are outside the gym. And also like I feel like females, like they'll wear like those like little tiny tops, like you know, like that type of stuff. Bras, and like I'll wear like a tank top or something, but like I'm not about to like show off everything that I got, because I also feel like that's another thing, like people look at and they're like, that girl's just showing off her body, but then this girl is just working hard and just doesn't care how she looks. Herself. Yes, exactly. And that's like kind of how I am too. I just like this is what I wore today. Like I'm just like go with the flow. Like I said, like you guys
honestly,
do it.
It shows like you have confidence in yourself and you know who you are, and you know what I mean. Like it doesn't matter what, you don't need other people's approval or opinions, or like you don't need that outwardly stuff. Like you know internally like who you are, and you're confident in that. Yeah. And I think that goes like a long way. And I feel like that's something that like a lot of people like strive to get to, and they struggle getting to that. Like a lot of people I feel like ask like, and that's something I want to ask you, like how do you feel like you got to that point? Have you just always been like that, or do you think your parents like really instilled in you that when you were young? I
feel like I've always been the type of person that I just like don't really care. Because my mom's always like, you should care a little bit, but like my take on life itself is just like, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen from like an hour from here. So I just kind of live my life like literally hour by hour and just go with the flow, like roll with the punches, whatever's happening. Yeah. And I don't really know where that came from, because I feel like my parents never really were that way, like that I saw. I don't know if I grew up the youngest of 5, so I don't know if it was like seeing the older siblings like go through stuff and like life challenges that I was like, oh, I'm not gonna do that. Like I'm gonna be different than that. So I don't know if that kind of made me be like the I don't care attitude. Like I'm just gonna like be me. Yeah. I don't know. Like I really don't know. Like, that's actually like a tough question, because my mom always is like, you literally don't care about anything. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like,
Yeah, it's just your
why would I?
personality,
Yeah,
honestly,
it really
like-
is. I'm just very raw. Like,
Yeah.
that's like the best way to explain like me. Like, I'm just raw.
Yeah.
Daily.
No, we definitely need more people like you in the world like that, because I know, like, I struggled because when I was young, I feel like my parents were, like, very involved in church, and I always felt like I had to, like, act a certain way, and I didn't realize until I was, like, 23 that I'm like, oh my God, I'm just, like, it's like a script. I'm just, like, reading off of it, like, I just, like, I, like, know what to say, and, like, dude, it's almost, like, not sneaky, but I'm just, like, I don't like this, like, do I actually believe the things I say? Like, am I actually standing behind those things? And it's not like I never really went through like I didn't really party. I never went like crazy. Like I didn't have like a bad phase, but I always just felt like I always struggled with like really feeling like genuine. And I think I always felt like that because I always was just taught naturally to just like put this front up and, oh, the sun's right in my eyes. But like I always was taught that, like, just this is how you act in church. This is how you talk. Like these are the questions that you have to answer. And you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like these are the answers to the questions that people will ask you. And this is basically just like bullet points of the Bible. I was just like taught, basically.
No, I could definitely agree with that. Like, I grew up in a household that I've been going to the same church my whole life.
Yeah.
Like, my parents started going there before I was born. So, like, I was raised in the church. And my dad is he is like the definition of like, he knows his stuff. Yeah. Like, growing up with a dad like that, like, knowing the Bible and knowing the Word of God the way he does, and like saying scripture, I'm like, whoa, like, what, like, where'd this come from?
Yeah.
And I feel like growing up with that, like, it taught me lessons and like it showed me the way of life and like how to live my life for God.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for that. But like kind of this like the same thing. I was like, do I believe this? Like, am I actually going to church because I want to go, or am I going because I was born this way?
Yeah.
And I feel like I did hit like a certain point where like I was born again, and then I was like, okay, like I finally am understanding like the pastor's preaching, like I'm understanding like the Word of God itself, and like I'm now enjoying to go to church because I know what's being talked about. It's not like I sit there and I'm like, phew. Like, that made no sense. Now it's like, okay, like it's sinking in, it's like sitting with me, and like I'm understanding what's being talked about.
Yeah.
So like kind of
and that comes with like just being mature too, I think. Like being mature in like who you are, and you know. That.
And it's always good having like a little like support group too, like around you, because like nowadays, like you like I feel like it's very rare to come about like young people who are like faith driven.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull this one down so the sun's not in our eyes. But yeah, that is like kind of crazy. It is, and it's so true. I think like that's like the most like underrated thing is having support people around you. And like I've gone through phases where I've had people there, and then we've gone through phases where like God kind of took people out of our life, or we went our separate ways, and we had to like find new people, and it was like almost uncomfortable. And we're kind of like in that one we're kind of in a phase like that right now. Is like after having our daughter and stuff, not that like people were like, oh, you have a baby, but our friend group kind of just everybody went like separate ways. And I was just like, what the heck? Like, I don't like this. I don't like doing stuff like alone. I need people around me encouraging me and like agreeing with me. Not even like agreeing with me, but just like holding me accountable and like just pushing me to be better. And like I need that. Like I need community. I need help. I am a major person now where I'm like, I literally need held accountable. And we like haven't had that for a little bit, and like we've been trying to get back to that place. But it is like so important. I feel like it makes it a lot easier to do stuff. And especially too, like with our world now, like it is so confusing. Like I tell people that all the time, and like I don't know if you like even come across this with the beauty industry, but like it's like Botox. Like obviously Botox like isn't really like in the Bible. Like, do you know what I mean? Like God doesn't clearly say like don't do this to your face, like or like Ozempic's like a big thing right now where it's like, do I like, and I know people who are on it, and it's like, are they wrong? Is it right? Is it wrong? Is it just like a gray area? Like, you know what I mean? And I almost feel like it's hard navigating the things in life when you see people who it's like really benefiting their health, but you're like, it's altering your brain, and it's altering things. So it's like, as a Christian, where should you stand on those things? And like, it's almost like you feel weird like saying it out loud. And like, two, it's like you're gonna get canceled for it. Like, I'm sure, like, on social media, they're not gonna like me saying that. Like, you know what I mean? But it is so true. Like, it's hard navigating as a Christian. Like,
no, it is.
what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do. The pastor can't touch on every single little thing. Like, he just has to give you the Bible. And, like, to be honest, pastors have different viewpoints on that things because it is kind of interpretation. And, I mean, different people believe different things, too. And I guess you have to go where you agree with them the most, but their beliefs and their values systems. But that's like one thing though, like, have you felt like, I don't know, have you like felt like that way? Have you ever thought about stuff like that? Like, even like, I have tattoos, and I'm always like, is this really like, would God be okay with this? Like, I'm like, I heard pastors and sermons like preach about how like, well, or they'd be like, well, back then they were talking about like branding and like they would brand themselves. And I'm like, but like really though, like, is a tattoo like okay? You know what I mean? Like, have you ever thought of stuff like that?
No, I have for sure. Like kind of going back, like my dad is so old school. He's not for tattoos at all. Me and all my siblings do have them. And like sometimes I'm like, is this wrong of me?
Yeah.
But then like I think in like the Old Testament and the New Testament, like there are two different like things about them. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like am I in the wrong? Or like, am I okay right now? And then I see pastors that have them themselves that are up there preaching and like don't ever say anything. So I'm like, okay, like maybe I'm okay being like this.
Yeah.
But like there's definitely this day and age, like the world's just so wishy-washy. Yeah. Like it really is like two different viewpoints on a lot of stuff.
No, yeah, I definitely like agree. It is like, it gets confusing, and that's why I always say like it is good having like friends that can like help you even like navigate that, because too like I think so much like the old school way of believing was like you have to be like your pastor like tells you everything, and like everything your pastor say you take to heart, and you like that's the way you live, and you go to your pastor for everything. But I do think like God created like God had disciples, and like God calls us to be disciples, and like we are called to like help one another and like go through life together. We're not meant to do it alone. And I think that's like such an important thing like to remember, that like when you have those questions, you don't have to ask, like you don't have to go right to a pastor, like find people in your community that you can sit down and like have the discussion with, and like go over scripture with. Cause like, and like too, like we had a really good community a couple years ago where it was like so awesome that it was just, we always challenged each other. And I feel like it's so underrated, but it's like something you need in your life.
No, it is.
And like, that's something I found, is that like you need people that questioning what you're doing and like talking you through it and like letting you talk through it. And like true, that, and honestly that's how you like heal with things, and like you grieve things and you move on, and like you move to different seasons. Like that's how you do that in life too, is like having those people be like that for you. Every podcast kind of like asking people like what advice they would give people. And so for you, I really wanted to ask you like, what advice would you give to someone who really just like needs to find themselves, and they need that time? Like I loved how you worded it in the beginning, like that time in the morning where you, and it might not be morning for them, but that time where you really like decompress and like think through your thoughts. And honestly too, like I always say, I feel like fitness is even like an act of worship, like to God, because you're like sitting, like you said, you're listening to rap music. Sometimes, okay, I'm gonna give my brother-in-law and sister-in-law a shout out, because they put worship music on. And I'm like, props to them, because I remember being like 16, being like, I ain't doing that. Like, that's stupid. Like, that doesn't get me hyped up. Like, you know what I mean? And they actually like listen to worship music, and I'm like, they're honoring God, and like, that's like the true like meaning of honoring God in everything you do. And so, and I do think working out and like working on yourself, like it is an act of worship to God, because you're taking care of yourself, you're releasing endorphins, like I'm sure there's other things going on here that I don't know about. But so what advice would you give, going back, what advice would you give to someone who's just trying to like find that and they don't know how to start? Like how would you even like give them advice on starting?
First off, like just be true to yourself. Like don't try to change the person that you are for the world that we live in, because you're going to try to live your life with different standards than like you actually want to, if you're trying to please everybody else in the world. So definitely like being true to yourself is like number one, because like you just have to be in your daily life. The second thing is just a little bit of time in your day to like, even if it's like I said, like go for a walk if it's nice out, like just go outside and enjoy the sunshine, like something like that. Like I'm just crazy, and I'm up at 3:30 every morning because that's like the time that I feel I can just go for an hour and a half and just be away from the world.
Yeah.
And then I come back and then it's like my family and then I go to work and I'm like, okay. So then I know like I had like that time to just like be within me and like do what I need to do and do what like makes me feel best.
Yeah.
Whether it was just going to stretch and walk or it was going to like lift or like even sometimes I go on the treadmill and I just like yap to somebody, like just something that makes me feel good to start my day. So first and foremost, just be you. Just enjoy the person that you are within, and then that's going to radiate out. Like that is going to really shine. Like once you find like your internal happiness, like you're going to start to be externally like glowing in a way.
Yeah.
And then after that, just like finding that little bit of time during the day, whether it's morning, evening, night, midday, anytime you can, and just going to do something for you. Like that's going to make you feel better daily, and then also like in the long run make you just like feel overall just better. And then past that, just like kind of just going with the flow. Like I said, like just go with the flow and like roll with life and like what it gives you, and like just try not to like overthink. Like you just really have to just like be open-minded to every situation, because like you just never know what's going to happen in your day. But that's kind of like really it.
No, I think that's like really good advice, and I think it's really good. And I think a lot of the times too, we focus on changing ourselves. So like we'll hear something like how it works for you and how like you're a super laid back person, whereas like I'm not a laid back person. So I can't just like I can't make myself laid back. So I love what you said in the beginning about just be you and like show up as you and like do it as you. Don't do it as like anybody else. And I think that's like so important, because it's easy to compare. It's easy to get caught up in what other people are doing. And I always like laugh, because I'm always like, when I see people like, when I like scrolling through, and I do social media for someone who owns a gym. So I'm like always like scrolling, looking at like fitness stuff on Instagram and TikTok. And I'm always like, it cracks me up, because these people like sell what they're doing for them. And like, I'm like, why? And that's why I love the girl that I do stuff for her, because her whole heart is what works for those people like usually isn't going to work for you, because it's like, are they doing a crazy diet? Are they taking anything for weight loss? Like, are they doing supplements? Like, are your vitamins like in nutrients okay? Are you eating what you should be eating? Are you getting enough protein? And like carbs are somewhat good. Like you do need carbs to
That's how you fuel yourself.
Yeah, and I saw a girl the other day who like she eats in the morning. She eats a bowl of spaghetti before she goes and works out. For breakfast, she'll do like a bowl of spaghetti. Not like it's like a little, like it's like this much.
Yeah.
She's not from America, so you know, over there their portions are way better than ours. But she'll do that, and it'll give her energy to like go work out. And I always get so aggravated, because I'm like, these people are like selling themselves, which is like cool. But at the same time though, what worked for them like necessarily isn't going to work for you. Like they might not have had kids. They might not have dealt with, like I had a C-section, like a major surgery like that. So my abdomen was like, I couldn't do certain things for a while. So it's like they don't understand that. And if you can't exactly follow their plan, is it going to work for you? And if you do follow it exactly, is it going to work for you?
Exactly.
So like that's one thing I love that you said, is just like show up as you.
Yeah.
I think that's so important.
And I'm not an advocate for diet, like those fad diets. Like I am like one that's like, like if you're putting whole foods and like the healthy foods in yourself, like you're going to feel better in like the long run. But like there's times, especially like you guys have a kid, like there's times where you're on the run, like McDonald's cheeseburger might be your dinner, because that's all you have time for. Like that might just be life. And like I said, like I'm not passing up ice cream. Like I'm probably going to go get it tonight, because I wanted it last night and didn't get it.
Yeah.
So like it's like things like that. Like people also like look at the fad diets and like, oh, I got to do this to lose weight. Yeah. No, you don't. Like that's not what you need. And I would never push a diet on somebody, because like I said, like just do what feels best for you.
Yeah.
Whether it's eating eggs and oatmeal and like sweet potatoes and whatnot, or eating pizza every night, like whatever is going to make you feel good, do it.
Yeah.
Like that type of thing.
Yeah. But no, I think that's really good. And I think that's good advice. And it's realistic too. Like, because it is like like life is crazy and hectic, and you are running around doing things and, you know, whatnot. So I told you I was going to ask you like a funny question, and then I forgot to ask it at the beginning. So I'm going to ask it now while I remember it. But if you were a type of food, what type of food would you be?
My mom's answer, because I had asked her last night, because I was like, oh my gosh. My mom's answer was eggs. I don't know. I
need to know the reasoning.
I mean, I do eat a lot of eggs like daily, but like, I don't know. She said eggs. I would probably say I love cream of wheat, which sounds so weird, but like it just tastes good. Whatever you mix it with is what it tastes like. Or sweet potatoes. I love sweet potatoes.
Okay.
So probably sweet. No, a steak. I love a good steak. Okay, that's my final answer. Is a steak. A steak.
I don't know that. I like the egg one because I feel like that makes you like
the egg.
That makes people like curious about you.
Egg whites, actually.
Yeah. That's so funny. But I wanted to thank you for being on here and talking and being vulnerable and sharing about your life and your journey and fitness and in the beauty industry. I appreciate you taking the time out for being here. And then I wanted to thank everybody for watching. And make sure you subscribe and you follow us on social media. And I'll make sure I put Kyra's social media so you can give her a follow too, because Kyra's a fun person.
Thank you. This was fun. I enjoyed it.
But make sure you subscribe and make sure that you check out the social medias accounts because we're going to be doing some fun videos. And I'm going to speed question date. I don't know, that sounds bad. I'm going to speed dating fire questions at Kyra and see how many she can answer in 60 seconds so we can get to know her in 60 seconds. But thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.